Hello everyone, and welcome to another off-road update. With a third of the 2024 Grand National Cross Country season already in the books, it was time for Round 5, the Old Gray GNCC in Monterey, Tennessee, a brand new venue on the circuit for the first time in a few years. The riders were all gunning for factory FMF KTM's Johnny Girroir, the current points leader having only first and second place finishes through the first 4 rounds. That had garnered him a healthy points lead over the rest of the field. As everybody converged on the Old Gray GNCC, the question on everyone's mind was who was going to leave the volunteer state with momentum. At the wave of the green flag for the 90-minute 8 a.m. youth race, Husqvarna mounted Brody Amos would take the optimum line through the first corner, grabbing the whole shot heading into turn 2. Easton Uplinger and Doc Smith would follow Amos through the opening chicane, while current youth points leader Caleb Boyd had an uncharacteristic poor start, slotting around a mid-pack entering the woods. As the field came through the midway point of the opening lap, Amos held the point position with Doc Smith close behind, the front two pulling a large gap on the rest of the field. Third place was Camp Coker winner Braden Baisley, while Ethan Harwell and Uplinger would round out the top 5, with Wood just behind in 6th. At the completion of the first lap, the running order was Amos, Smith, Harwell, Wood, and Uplinger. Where was Baisley? A vicious crash in the back part of the track would leave the previous round winner on the ground, taking over 4 minutes to collect himself before re-entering the race. As the riders made their way back to the finish for lap 3, Amos controlled the lead while Wood made the pass on Smith to take over the runner-up position. Harwell and Uplinger rounded out the top 5 in the order. Baisley, meanwhile, was making his charge through the field. After being passed by multiple classes during his crash, the Tennessee local was putting on a charge that would put him back into the top 10 by the halfway point of the race. Early into lap 5, in the center part of the track, Wood found a good line and with momentum moved to the inside of Amos to take over the lead. Doc Smith on his KTM was still on the heels of the leading duo with just over 2 laps remaining. The Old Gray crowd on hand was witnessing the best youth race of the year. As the 2-lap card came out, Wood held a 23-second advantage over Amos, as Smith was an additional 42 seconds behind. The rocky technical track, along with lap traffic, was playing major factors on the outcome of the race. As the riders checked back in for the final lap, Wood's 23-second lead was gone, as a crash allowed Amos to take back the number 1 spot, with Wood just a few seconds off of the lead. The battle for the number 1 spot was going down to the wire. As the lead duo came back into view of the crowd, Amos held the lead with Wood all over his rear wheel. The Kawasaki star hit a flat rock and lost the front end, allowing Amos to get away. At the finish, Brody Amos would come through to claim his first ever youth overall victory. Caleb Wood put in one final charge to reel in Amos but fell just short. After the race, it was discovered that in the crash, Wood ripped off his foot peg. Doc Smith would come through to take the final spot on the podium, while Baisley capped off his charge to come home in 4th, with Ethan Harwell rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, it was a good one. We got second off the whole shot. Led the first maybe 2 or 3 laps. Got down. Caleb caught me, passed me. I saw him in a straightaway, and I knew I really wanted to win. And pushed really hard. He made a mistake that last lap, and tried to keep her on 2 wheels. So, thank you.
When the WXC class fired off the line for their 2-hour race, it was Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's Corey Steed grabbing the whole shot and leading the field into the woods. Following behind was Brandy Richards, Shelby Turner, Jordan Jarvis, and Kayla O'Neill. Midway through the opening lap, points leader Rachel Archer held the lead with Steed in the 2nd position, Turner in 3rd. Richards and Jarvis rounded out the top 5, while 6th and 7th were controlled by Preston Rains and Carly Lee. One mile into the 2nd lap, Archer still controlled the lead while Steed and Turner were in a battle for the runner-up position, 30 seconds behind Archer. From then on, the WXC leaders caught lap traffic from the nearly 600 riders that started the 10 a.m. morning race. The leaders up front spread apart over the 9-mile track, and the battle up front never materialized. Shelby Turner would take over the 2nd place spot at the end of lap 2 ahead of Steed, and that would be the final pass among the podium positions. When the checkered flag flew, Rachel Archer claimed her 2nd WXC win of the year. Turner came through for the runner-up spot, while Steed claimed the final position on the podium. Richards was able to hold on to 4th and revealed that during the race she suffered a hard crash and separated her shoulder. The only pass left was for 5th, with Preston Rains grabbing the final spot in the top 5 from Jordan Jarvis on the final lap of action.
The track was awesome. It was quite technical, which is what I like. And me and Trent did a lot of testing this week, so I felt super prepared and just got out front early and tried to keep the gap. I fell twice, I think, and was able to get up pretty quick. There were just like silly fall-over crashes, but yeah, the track was really cool and looking forward to coming back next year.
How the lappers come into effect once you got to those early in the lap too?
You just have to be cautious because the track was so like slow and tricky. Most of them would get out of the way pretty quick, but you just have to be patient. It wasn't any different to any other race.
As the riders lined up for the 3-hour final race of the weekend, it was evident that staying on 2 wheels was going to be paramount. When the green flag waved for the 1 o'clock pro race, it was Phoenix Racing Honda's Mike Wachowski grabbing the hole shot, leading the field of 14 riders into the woods. Behind the Indiana native came the hometown favorite Jordan Ashburn and defending champ Craig DeLong. 4 miles into the first lap of racing, local favorite Ashburn, who lives just miles from the Old Gray facility, held the lead, followed by points leader Girroir, Wachowski, Ricky Russell, and Trevor Bollinger. The XC1 field were all in a tight pack as the technical track slowed everyone down from spreading apart early. Early into the second lap, Ashburn and Girroir held the point positions while Russell and Stu Baylor moved themselves into spots 3 and 4 with Bollinger still in 5th. Hole shot winner Wachowski dropping back to 6th ahead of DeLong. At the FMF power point on lap 2, Ashburn had the lead while Girroir crashed at the beginning of the section. He would remount just before Russell could make the pass on his Am-Pro Yamaha. By the time lap 2 was over, the running order was Ashburn and Girroir while Baylor had moved his way to the 3rd place spot. Russell was in 4th with DeLong following through in 5th. The top 5 would lose one of the front runners before the halfway point, as Ricky Russell would exit the race after a couple crashes, leaving him with an injured shoulder. Stu Baylor would take the lead and pad a 15-second advantage by the end of the 3rd lap of racing. Girroir was an additional 6 seconds behind, with DeLong and Wachowski rounding out the top 5. The running order would remain unchanged for the next 2 laps, as Baylor at one point had a nearly 45-second advantage over Coastal GasGas's Ashburn. The lead would dwindle, though, as the riders checked in for the white flag, to just 12 seconds as Ashburn had put in a charge that drew him closer to the Kawasaki rider. Girroir was alone in 3rd as illness hit the championship leader early in the morning that left him fighting a secondary battle on the racetrack. With just over a mile to go, Baylor's advantage was gone. The Livingston native, Ashburn, inspired by the hometown crowd, had moved to the rear wheel of Baylor, looking at every inch of the track to pass. It was to no avail. As the checkered flag fell, Baylor held off Ashburn's charge to take his first overall victory of the season, with Ashburn right in tow. Girroir would survive to finish 3rd, while DeLong and Wachowski rounded out the top 5.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I've been on the podium every race we've lined up this year. Obviously, we had some bullshit with the Coastal boys wanting to start some shit last race, taking a slower line and cost me a podium there. But you know, I rode a podium race, and to be riding podium races every single weekend, National Enduro GNCC, and not have a win yet, you know, that's aggravating. But man, it's good to be back up here. We put a lot into this, and you know, as much as a lot of people think that it's the time to be excited, like, you know, I think I've crested over 50 national wins at this point in my career, and it's just another day. As bad as that sounds, not intentionally, but you know, it's good, it's cool, it's kind of like some weight off my shoulders. But at the end of the day, it's time to go back to work and make sure that we can do it again.
As we take a look at the points after 5 rounds of action, Johnny Girroir leads the way by 19 points over Stu Baylor, with Ashburn in 3rd. Grant Baylor and Craig DeLong hold down 4th and 5th in the point standings. Thank you for watching, everyone. Round 6 of the 2024 Grand National Cross Country season takes place next weekend, April 27th and 28th in Crawfordsville, Indiana for the Hoosier GNCC. I'll see you guys there.